Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's professional development on vocabulary instruction. All of you know me as the district's literacy specialist, and I am here today to help you improve incorporating vocabulary instruction into your daily curriculum. I am a firm believer that if students are able to identify the meaning of words and are able to use the words correctly while they are speaking and writing, their comprehension will greatly improve. We have a lot to cover today, so let's go ahead and get started. And as you have questions, feel free to ask. Today's professional development is going to be about how to incorporate vocabulary into your daily curriculum. In a little bit, I'm going to be explaining why I chose vocabulary as the topic of discussion for today's professional development. I reviewed some of our district scores on the English Language Arts Assessment and the Reading Assessment. The scores showed that we need to improve our vocabulary instruction in order to help improve the students' assessment scores. I found a video on Teaching Channel that includes a second grade teacher using a strategy known as college talk. She uses this strategy to get students thinking about higher level vocabulary words. For example, we always tell our students to go throw away that in the trash. Instead, we should consider saying, please go dispose of that in the trash. As we watch the video, please reflect on how you use higher level vocabulary in your classroom. Didn't you guys love how that teacher incorporated vocabulary into her students' daily language? I thought that was such a great and easy way to begin introducing students to new words and meanings. Now that you had a chance to see how a second grade teacher includes vocabulary into her day, I want you to talk to someone at your table about how you incorporate vocabulary into your daily schedule. I'll give you a couple of seconds to share, and then I want to call on a few teachers who would be willing to share some of their ideas. I love when teachers share ideas with one another because it gives us a chance to see what everyone else is doing in their classroom, and hopefully something that they say stands out to you and it's something that you can use in your classroom and incorporate with your students. Looking at our district's overall data for reading informational text, 21% of our students are below proficient, 37% of our students are at or near proficient, and 41% of our students are above proficient on reading informational text. Overall, we have 62% of our students considered proficient on the English Language Arts Assessment. The goal of this professional development is once we begin to incorporate using higher level vocabulary instruction into our daily curriculum, the students who are below proficient will be able to go to at or near proficient. The students that are currently at or near proficient can go to above proficient, and the students that are currently at above proficient continue to soar and continue to use these strategies that we are teaching to implement in the classroom while they are taking these assessments. Overall, on the English Language Arts Assessment for our school district for third grade reading informational text item analysis described that 45% of our students could not determine or clarify the meaning of unknown and multiple meaning words and phrases based on grade 3 reading and content, choosing flexibly from a range of strategies. 43% of our students could not determine the meaning of general, academic, and domain-specific words and phrases in a text relevant to a grade 3 topic or subject area. On the reading assessment, students are required to demonstrate their understanding of word knowledge and skills, comprehension strategies and constructing meaning, analyzing literacy text, understanding author's craft, and analyzing argument and evaluating text. Only 62% of our students were able to meet the benchmark for this assessment, and 38% of our students were below benchmark on this assessment. All of this data shows that our students need to improve their vocabulary knowledge and comprehension skills. That is why I chose this topic to teach you how to start incorporating vocabulary into your daily curriculum in order to improve the students' assessment scores. In grades 3 through 12, an average student is likely to learn about 3,000 new vocabulary words each year. If he or she reads between 500,000 and 1 million running words of text per school year. Let's think about that. Are we really introducing our third graders to 3,000 new words this year? I'm going to guess probably not. So let's talk at our table about how we decide which words to teach our students. For example, are you using a word list or scanning through the students' textbooks to find keywords the students must know? I'm going to give you a couple seconds to discuss with your table, and then I want to hear from some of you about how you choose the words to teach your students and about how many words you think you teach on average each school year to your third graders. Meaningful vocabulary instruction should be in the service of purposeful activities in reading, listening, writing, speaking, critical thinking, and problem solving. In order to provide students with these opportunities, we must make sure that we are providing our students with a variety of text. For example, students should be reading fiction, nonfiction, poetry, at all different reading levels that relate to the student's interest. I put a couple great dinosaur mentor texts on your tables. So with a sticky note, I want all of you to go through your mentor book and choose about 3 keywords you would highlight and teach to your students. This is a great activity for your students to do as well when introducing them to a new book during guided reading. So go ahead and find 3 keywords in your book that are used repeatedly, that you believe are the most important for the students to know. You should compare words in the text that students are currently reading to words on an existing word list. However, I know that we all don't use that strategy. So let's discuss how you decided which words you would teach to your third graders. So can anyone raise their hand and tell me how they chose the 3 words that they would teach to their third grade students? Okay, I heard so many great examples from all of you about how you chose your 3 key words in your mentor text, and this slide goes right along with some of your great ideas. I know that we are all familiar with modeling for our students how to solve words that are unfamiliar to them. For example, all of us implement context clues by sharing with the students that there are hints that the authors use to help us define difficult or unusual words in a text. This requires that teachers select pieces of text that include complex vocabulary terms and that they read the text aloud, pausing to demonstrate how word solving works. So I heard so many great ideas from you, and I heard some of you even say that you scanned through your dinosaur books to find words that you think your students would not know before reading the text. So that's a great strategy to use. Please keep doing that. Students need to have time to use the words they are learning with their teacher and with their peers. I found a great example of how a teacher incorporated a pocket for corduroy and discussed with our students the word reluctant. That seems like such a long word for our third graders to understand, but making self-connections to words like reluctant is so important in order for our students to understand and remember the meaning behind the vocabulary word. So let's listen to one of my favorite researchers, Isabel Beck, discuss how she incorporates peer discussion into her daily vocabulary instruction. Okay, now that we discussed different ways that teachers implement vocabulary words into their daily curriculum, the strategy that we are going to highlight today is called semantic feature analysis. The objective of using semantic feature analysis in your classroom is students will be able to classify new words by the features using a matrix. For this lesson, all of the mentor texts that you were reading and you highlighted 3 key words were all dinosaur-related textbooks. What third grade student wouldn't love reading about dinosaurs? In all of the mentor texts, the 3 target words that I selected were used repeatedly in all of your books. The 3 words that I want to highlight today are carnivore, bipedal, and herbivore. So before we get started on the semantic feature analysis, you're going to write your target words on the whiteboard for all of the students to see. So on the whiteboard, I'm going to write carnivore, bipedal, and herbivore. And I'm going to ask the students about any prior knowledge they might already have about these 3 key terms. Then the teacher is going to write the features associated with these words across the top of the matrix. For example, for this lesson, I chose the words herbivore, bipedal, and carnivore, and those go at the top. I will discuss with the students the words that these mean before we get started. After we have the left side and the top of the matrix filled out, the students are going to begin filling out the rest of the matrix by placing a mark in each box that if the word fits that feature, then that box gets a mark. So the reason I chose semantic feature analysis to teach you today is because it illustrates how words are both similar and different and emphasizes the uniqueness of each word. It draws on the student's prior knowledge and uses discussion to elicit information about word meanings. You can use the strategy before you are reading, during you are reading, or after you are finished reading. You can use it individually, in a small group, or in a whole class setting. Here is the matrix we are going to use today to talk about dinosaurs. So as you can see, these are our keywords up here at the top of the matrix: carnivore, bipedal, and herbivore. Then all of the words on the left-hand side of the matrix are all words that have similarities. So these are all dinosaurs that were in our mentor text that the students were able to read about. I chose to have the students complete this matrix after we were finished reading our mentor text because not all students are going to come to school having the prior background knowledge about dinosaurs and if they were a herbivore, bipedal, or carnivore. So I thought it would be more necessary to complete this after the students were finished reading those mentor texts. Otherwise, if they finished it before, there would have been a lot of revising going on, and I just felt more comfortable using the semantic feature analysis after in completing the matrix after we were finished reading. Once the matrix is complete, the student should have a discussion about the reasons why they answered the questions that way. Look at how clearly the students can see the similarities and differences between the dinosaurs while using our target vocabulary words carnivore, herbivore, and bipedal. I bet by the end of the lesson, the students would be able to tell you the meanings of our target vocabulary words because it aligned with the students' interests, so it was engaging. They had time to discuss the words and their meanings, and they were able to read more information about each type of dinosaur. So, for example, a discussion with your students might look like this. Let's look at the T Rex. He is a carnivore and he is a bipedal, which means he walks on two legs. Let's find another dinosaur that is similar to the T Rex. Colossus, that is very similar to the T Rex. Let's find a dinosaur that is different than the T Rex, and they could say the Triceratops. Because it's a herbivore, it eats plants, and it walks on four legs. So that's a kind of discussion that your students would have after they got done filling out the matrix. So in order to differentiate at all of our schools, because all of our elementaries have a little bit different needs, at Brayburn Elementary, we had 8% of our students who are below proficient in reading informational text on the English Language Arts Assessment. In order to improve the students' scores, we are going to incorporate the use of drawing pictures using these key vocabulary words. This is a more challenging activity, but still continues to build on the students' knowledge of the meaning of the key vocabulary words and promotes a lot of student engagement. So, for example, our students could draw a picture of a T-Rex because they're going to know what a T-Rex looks like by reading those mentor texts, and they might show a T-Rex eating meat because a T-Rex is a carnivore. So they're using those key vocabulary words while visualizing the pictures in their heads. At Cortland Elementary, our students are 55% below proficient in writing on the English Language Arts Assessment. After we created the matrix and used the semantic feature analysis with our students, we are going to use the information provided by the matrix to write a sentence using the key vocabulary words. For example, a student could write, "The T-Rex is a carnivore and they like to eat meat." At Darcy Elementary, 28% of our students are below proficient in reading informational text on the English Language Arts Assessment. In order to increase these scores, we're going to have the students incorporate oral communication into their learning of these key vocabulary words. For example, students are going to get into a smaller group setting to discuss the key vocabulary words. A student might say to one of his peers, "A T-Rex is a carnivore because he eats meat. He also walks on two legs." By communicating with their peers, this will hopefully increase their knowledge of the key vocabulary words and their meanings. I've included a great resource for you guys to start using in your classrooms called Florida Center for Reading Research. On this website, it includes tons of vocabulary information that you can implement in your classroom. I highly suggest exploring this website, and please feel free to come to me if you have any questions about using semantic feature analysis in your classrooms. I really appreciate all of your time today listening to me about discussing vocabulary instruction and incorporating semantic feature analysis into your classroom. As always, if you have any questions, I would love to talk to you about how to better incorporate these strategies into your classroom. So before we leave today, I want everyone to complete an exit ticket. And on the exit ticket, I want you to jot down a few takeaways that you learned from today's professional development. And I would also like you to write how I can better help you establish effective vocabulary instruction in your classroom. If there was something that I didn't get to answer today during this professional development, or if there's something you want me to come and watch in your classroom and observe, I would love to be a part of your classroom in any way that I can. So please jot down takeaways from today's professional development, and also how I can better assist you in your classroom. If there's no further questions, I'm going to begin passing out your exit tickets. And thank you all for listening to my presentation on vocabulary instruction. Have a wonderful day.